The zone. What is it? How do you get in it? How do you stay in it for longer? What's up everyone, Dimitri here. In this video, I'm going to share with you everything there is to know about the zone so that you can get in it more often, on command really, and stay in it for longer. Because when you're able to play basketball in this mental state we call the zone, you're going to unlock another level of performance. I'll start with a quick definition of what the zone is, which is going to lead right into how to get into the zone. And then I'll finish with a bonus tip, which is honestly the real secret to getting into the zone more. All right, let's dive in. Let's start real quick with my definition of the zone. I'm assuming you know what the zone is, but I want to share this definition with you because it's going to lead into how to get into the zone. To me, the zone is a mental state where you are 100% focused and 100% present in whatever it is that you're doing. When you're in the zone, you're totally in the moment. You get lost in what you're doing. With basketball, when you're in the zone, the game sort of slows down for you. You are totally in the moment and you aren't distracted by anything. You don't hear the crowd. You don't feel the pressure of the moment. Nothing can break your focus. Now, this isn't to say that you aren't thinking at all. I mean, maybe you aren't. For me, I'm doing a little bit of thinking, but at the very least, when you're in the zone, you're definitely keeping your thoughts to a minimum. And those thoughts are all on the task at hand. They are all in the present moment. You aren't thinking about what just happened on the previous possession, and you aren't thinking about what might happen on the next possession, or any other hypothetical scenarios. Your concentration is on the current possession, the current play, the current moment, always. And as you all know, when you're in the zone, you unlock another level of performance. It's like a multiplier boost for your game. It's like going Super Saiyan. Hey, what's your best in the zone moment or game? Did you make a crazy play or something because you were in the zone? Or were you in the zone for an entire game and had an amazing game because of that? Comment below and let me know. All right, with all that said, how exactly do you get in the zone? Like, can you actually get in the zone on command? Or is it something that you kind of stumble into and you gotta hope that you get lucky? Well, to answer that second question, yes, you can totally get in the zone on command. It's not easy, but it's possible. Let's go back to the definition of the zone. A mental state where you are 100% focused and 100% present in whatever it is that you're doing. When you're in the zone, you are fully focused and fully present. So to get in the zone on command, while playing basketball, while watching a movie, while doing anything, you need to narrow your focus and you need to become more present until you reach this mental state where you're 100% focused and 100% present. Okay, let's take that a step further. So then how do you narrow your focus and how do you become more present? Well, these go hand in hand. You really can't narrow your focus if you aren't present, and you can't become more present if you aren't focused. But here are some specific ways to achieve both of these things, and as a result, get in that zone state. To narrow your focus and become more present, you need to quiet your mind, ignore distractions, be fully engaged in what you're doing, and if you find yourself slipping, use an anchor back to the present moment. All right, let me explain each of these. When you master this stuff right here, you will get in the zone more. So first, quiet your mind. To narrow your focus and become more present, you've got to quiet your mind. Now, again, this doesn't mean you're not thinking at all. To me, quieting your mind doesn't necessarily mean shutting out all thoughts completely. The key is to just minimize your thoughts. The key is to not overthink. Here's a loud mind. Here's overthinking. Let's use the example of doing a shooting drill. Dang, I just missed 3 in a row. Oh, there goes another. Man, I'm off today. What are people thinking right now? They're probably thinking I'm a terrible shooter. I've got to make 4 out of the next 5 to complete this drill. Come on, let's go. Versus a quiet mind, you miss a shot, all good, I got this. Maybe you give yourself a quick reminder. Hey, more arc. Like, that's it. The quieter your mind, the better. And the other key difference here is whatever thoughts you do have, keep them in the present moment. Dang, I just missed 3 in a row. That's thinking about the past. Man, I'm off today. Thinking about the past. These thoughts are taking you out of the present moment, aka they're taking you out of the zone. Man, what are people thinking right now? They probably think I'm a terrible shooter. Thoughts of the future. I've got to make 4 out of the next 5 to complete this drill. Come on, let's go. Thoughts of the future. Thinking about the future. These thoughts are taking you out of the present moment, aka they're taking you out of the zone. Versus, I got this, present moment. More arc, present moment. You want to just stay focused on this moment, and then this one, and then this one. You want to stay focused on this shot, and then this one, and then this one. When you quiet your mind and you keep your thoughts in the present moment, you narrow your focus, you become more present, and you get in the zone. Okay, next one. Ignore distractions. When you get distracted, you take yourself out of the zone. Think about when you're watching a movie. If your phone keeps going off because you're getting texts or notifications or whatever, well, then you're not going to get in the zone while watching that movie. Same thing with basketball. In basketball, there's external distractions to deal with, like the crowd, fans booing, opponents talking trash, and there's internal distractions, your own doubts or fears, thoughts of the past or hypothetical thoughts of the future, like I just talked about a minute ago. You've got to ignore this stuff. It takes you out of the moment. Not always easy to do, but the more you practice it, the better you'll get. There's a famous clip of Kobe Bryant where Chris Rock was courtside and trying to talk to Kobe, and Kobe just kept staring ahead. He didn't acknowledge Chris Rock at all. That would have been a distraction. That would have taken him out of his zone. When you ignore distractions, you narrow your focus, you become more present, and you get in the zone. Third thing, become fully engaged in what you're doing. When you're fully engaged in what you're doing, you are fully locked into whatever you're doing. You sort of get lost in what you're doing. You're not overthinking, which we've already talked about. You're not getting distracted by anything, which we just talked about. You're in a flow. All your attention is on whatever it is you're doing. This shot, this play, this game. All right, here's a great trick for becoming fully engaged with what you're doing if you're having trouble. Use your senses. Really focus on using your senses. When you're fully engaged with what you're doing, you're really seeing what you're doing. You're really feeling it, really hearing it, smelling it, or tasting it if that applies. So in basketball, if you want to get locked in, think about using your senses when you can. When you're on the bench or during a dead ball, really watch what's going on around you. Really see the action unfold. Really see the action unfold when you're in the game, as it's happening. Another good one is to feel. Really feel your feet on the ground. Really feel the ball in your hands. This will lock you right back in. When I find myself struggling with my jumper or struggling to stay locked in, I love to just focus on the feeling of the ball in my hands, and that feeling of the ball leaving my hands as I shoot. Use your hearing to help you get fully engaged. Really hear the sounds of the game. The shoes squeaking, the net swishing. Great sound. Consciously thinking about using your senses will help you become more engaged in whatever it is you're doing. And when you become fully engaged with what you're doing, you narrow your focus, you become more present, and you get in the zone. Okay, so to narrow your focus and become more present, aka get in the zone, you want to quiet your mind, ignore distractions, and become fully engaged with what you're doing. What happens if you're struggling to do these things though? It's hard. It takes consistent practice. What should you do if you just can't focus? Well, a great hack is to use an anchor back to the present moment. Here's what I mean. An anchor to the present is something that's going to bring you right back to the present when you place your attention on it. So the first one, what's something that's always in the present moment? Your breath. Each breath you take is always in the present moment. It can never not be. So if you ever find yourself struggling to get focused and present, bring your attention to your breathing for a little. If you're working out or in practice, when you get a chance, take a quick 10, 20, 30 second break and just focus on your breath. If you're in a game, When on the bench or during a timeout or even during a dead ball, bring your attention to your breath. Focus on this inhale and then this exhale. Hear yourself breathing or feel yourself breathing. By placing your focus on something that is always present, you will become more present yourself. Your breath acts as an anchor to the present moment. The second thing that can be an anchor to the present is a mantra. You can set the intention. When I say blank, I'm gonna come back to the present moment immediately. When I say lock in, be here now, be present, whatever you want it to be, just set the intention. When I say lock in, I'm gonna instantly become present. And then the more you say your mantra and get locked back in, the more effective it's gonna become over time. Quiet your mind, ignore distractions, be fully engaged with what you're doing. And if you find yourself struggling to do these things, use an anchor to bring yourself into the present by focusing on your breath or using a mantra. Okay, last thing. I have one final piece of advice for you. The key to getting in the zone more in basketball. If you want to get in the zone more in basketball, you've got to get in the zone more outside of basketball. I'll say that again. If you want to get in the zone more in basketball, you've got to get in the zone more outside of basketball. You've got to get in the zone more in your day-to-day life. Your day-to-day life is an opportunity to practice getting in the zone. It's an opportunity to get better at getting in the zone on command. So then when you step onto the court, you'll be able to get in the zone easily because you've done it so many times outside of basketball. You've gotten good at it. You've gotten good at narrowing your focus and becoming fully present. You've gotten good at quieting your mind, at ignoring distractions, and staying fully engaged in whatever it is you're doing. Here are some ways you can practice getting in the zone. First, in basketball, a great way to practice getting in the zone is when you're doing shooting drills. Try to catch yourself if your mind starts to wander. Oh shoot, I'm thinking about what's for lunch, or that thing that happened yesterday. Let me just be here. Just focus on each shot, one at a time. In your day-to-day life, practice getting in the zone when you watch TV or watch a movie, when doing homework or studying, when reading a book, when eating, when having a conversation with someone. Get lost in whatever it is you're doing. Ignore distractions. Put your phone in a different room. Put it on silent. Try to just be in the moment. Which, listen, none of this is easy. It's hard, but this is what it takes if you want to get in the zone more. If you want to get in the zone on command. It's not easy, but you can do it. If you have the self-discipline, the dedication, the motivation to really work on everything I've shared with you here in this video, then you're going to get in the zone more, which is going to take your game to another level. And you're going to separate yourself from other players. You're going to stand out. All right, that is my complete guide to getting in the zone in basketball. To summarize, the zone is a mental state where you are 100% focused and 100% present in whatever it is that you're doing. So to get in the zone more, you got to narrow your focus and become more present. And to do that, you want to quiet your mind and keep your thoughts in the present, ignore distractions, and be fully engaged in what you're doing. Get lost in what you're doing. And if you find yourself getting distracted or losing focus, try bringing your attention to your breath or repeat a mantra. And then finally, practice this stuff in your day-to-day life. If you want to get in the zone more in basketball, then practice getting in the zone in your everyday life. All right, that's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Man, my best zone story, there was one adult league game where I was in this zone for nobody cares.